Hi everybody, I'm Dan Panzarella here to introduce how we selected the pools for Division 1 of the World Cup this year. First, we made a list of all the teams ordered by rank, and then each section of 12 teams gets moved into their own pot. So for instance, ranks 1 through 12 are the first pot, 13 through roughly 25 are the next pot, and so on to create 5 pots total. To create a pool, one team is selected from each level of the pot. So for example, for first team of the first pool, one team is randomly selected from the top skill level pot, where the teams are ranked 1 through 12. The next team is selected from the second pot, third from the third pot, and so on, so that there are 5 teams in each pool. And the skill level will match the pots. So there's 1 excellent team in a pot, 3 fairly good teams, and 1 maybe debuting team. Diversity between the regions is ensured so that for each selection from each pot, if there's a team already from that region in the pool, as long as they're not the Northeast, they put it back and randomly select again. This was done by computer, not by hand. So all the results were completely random by the pots, except the Northeast is allowed to have 3 teams per pool simply because there's an overwhelming number of Northeast teams.
Hi, I'm Sarah Nealing, and I'm going to start telling you all about the pools we've set up for the World Cup. Our first pool consists of number 4 Emerson College, whose huge Quidditch program has proven their dominance at spontaneous Lady Gaga performances. It also includes the University of Richmond, currently ranked number 22. They're the second oldest Virginia team, and they're attempting to take the best team in Virginia title back from VCU. Penn State University, number 29, is also in the first pool. They were defeated by Chestnut Hill in the Brotherly Love Cup finals, but they did catch the snitch. Ohio State University is also in that pool. Luke, I hear, is going to be outdressing Benepi at the World Cup, so that's something to watch for, certainly. And the University of Victoria finishes the pool by making their official World Cup debut this year. Our second pool starts out with the University of Rochester, who is currently ranked number 7. They're started by the one and only Dan Panzarella, and they have established a commanding presence in the Northeast. The Toms Rivers Hydras are currently ranked number 25. They were the high school champions at last year's World Cup, and they've since graduated to community status, where they continue to play and party hard a mere 10 minutes from the Jersey Shore. The University of Southern California, currently ranked number 38. Mostly what I know about them is I hear they can flip eggs very well. Rounding out the pool are Virginia Commonwealth University and Sam Houston State University. They are unfortunately united by a common injury, but hopefully VCU is going to be more than equal to showing Sam Houston how to come back from a collarbone injury in style. Our third pool starts out with number 8 McGill University, who have proven themselves time and time again as the best team in Canada and have been competing in the World Cup for about 4 years now. The University of South Florida, ranked number 20, was the team to beat in the Florida Quidditch Conference this year. They eventually fell to Miami recently. And number 34, St. Lawrence University, had an explosive improvement between World Cup 2009 and 2010. We're really excited to see what they bring this year. America's finest Quidditch club is quite memorable from their physical performance at last year's World Cup. And rounding out the pool, we have the Phoenixes. Definitely the Silver Phoenixes.
Hi everybody, this is Hannah Pullman reporting the next 3 pools. In the next pool, it contains number 1 Middlebury, the defending champ, so let somebody else beat you guys finally. Also in this pool is number 13, UCLA. They placed 3rd at the Western Cup in April 2011. Also in this pool is number 42, Yale. While trying to prove their superior Quidditch ability, they gave an LSU player a concussion last year, so you other teams in that pool, watch out. Also in this pool is Michigan Quidditch. They have improved a lot since last year and is a team to watch out for, my sources tell me. Also University of VASSAR, so they are the first Finnish team to partake in the World Cup. The next pool has number 10, University of Pittsburgh. They have self-elected themselves the sexiest team in Quidditch for the last 3 years, and also for some odd reason partake in the mid. Also in this pool is number 14, Tufts University. Tufts University proved to be an amazing team last year when being the team to beat. Also in this pool is number 36, University of Maryland. They recently hosted the Turtle Cup. The next team in this pool is the Silicon Valley Scroots. This team will have the most annoying t-shirt numbers out of anybody at the World Cup. And the other team in this pool is Bowling Green State University. They have some impressive dodgeball players on their roster, so watch out. The next pool contains number 9, Boston University. They recently beat UPitt to win the Northeast Regionals. Number 16, Chestnut Hill College. There are rumors that Chestnut Hill's playstyle needs to take a shower. The next team in this pool is number 27, University of California at Berkeley. They tied for 3rd at the Western Cup. And then the other 2 colleges in this pool are Lafayette College, which is often confused for a school in Louisiana, and College of Charleston, which has proved their superior partying abilities while at Florida State.
Anti-cut. Hi, I'm Kevin Olsey, and I'll be introducing the next 3 pools. First, in our 7th pool, is the number 2 overall seed University of Kansas, who, in a surprise fashion, won the Midwest Cup in a great final game over Pittsburgh. They debuted in the rankings as the first team to actually dethrone Middlebury from the number 1 overall seed, although they have since fallen back to the number 2 seed. Second in this is the number 26 University of Utah, who's considered one of the most physical teams in the West region. They played great at the Western Cup in spite of playing with only 7 people for most of the tournament because of an injury. Third in this is HOFSTRA University, which is a young on-the-rise team who hosted the Northeast Regionals this year. At number 47, we have the University of Vermont, who may have the coolest uniforms in the entire tournament, and they're dealing with some injuries that happened at the Middlebury Classic, so hopefully they'll be okay and can field a very solid team. And then finally, we have Ringling College, who was a participant in the Florida Quidditch Conference, and they came in 2nd place in the Swamp Cup this year. In the 8th pool, headlining will be number 5, Louisiana State University, who, according to their team page on the IQA forums, want to be the very best, like no team ever was. They're coming in as the top seed in this pool, and so they have a pretty good chance to show that. Next is number 24, Carleton University, which comes from the great northern country of Canada, and they recently took 2nd place in the Canadian Cup. With number 28 in the 3rd seed in this pool is the JETPACK Ninja Dinosaurs, who have never played a home game either in space or in Dinosaur, Colorado. This is a quantum-based, self-propagating community team. The next team in the pool is a university I've never really heard of called Harvard University, but their mascot is the Horntails, and they seem like a very tough squad. And finally, we have Texas Christian University, who, despite not being from a BCS conference, has still managed to enter the World Cup, proving once again that the IQA is better than the BCS. Then we have, for our 9th pool, our top seed is number 12, Michigan State University, who started the dance party at World Cup 4, which is a very important accomplishment in my book. And they also held Middlebury to its closest game at a 60-20 score, and are known to throw fantastic shindigs. Then, in the 2nd seed, we have number 15, Villanova University. Now, I don't know much about Villanova, but if they're anything like my old Chevy Nova, they'll light up the scoreboards. Then we have number 31, Virginia Tech, who had a come-from-behind snitch grab to take this year's Turtle Cup over the University of Maryland. Then we have Stony Brook University, who recently took 5th at the Northeast Regional. And finally, we have University of Minnesota, and I must clarify, there is no, I repeat, no truth to the rumor that Brett Favre will be coming out of retirement to play chaser for them.
Hey, I'm Ethan Sturm, and I'm going to be breaking down the final 3 pools of the World Cup, Division 1 that is. We'll start with number 6, Texas A&M, the Southwest Regional Champions, and said by the Monthly Seer to be one of the teams that could compete for the title this year. Next up in that pool is number 18, the University of Miami. They are the Swamp Cup winners, so 2 regional winners in this one pool. And they have recently had a very good weekend in Florida Quidditch Conference play, unseating University of South Florida at the top. Next up is number 33, VASSAR College from New York, one of the first 2 Quidditch teams and the opposition of Middlebury at the first ever Quidditch World Cup. And rounding out the pool is New York University, who finished 7th at Northeast Regionals in May, and Ithaca Community Quidditch, who are playing their first official games at the Quidditch World Cup. Moving on to Pool 11, and it begins with a community team from New York, Ives Pond Quidditch Club. Ives Pond has been really the cream of the crop in the state of New York lately, posting multiple victories over SUNY teams. And they will be in a pool with number 19, Marquette University from Wisconsin, Midwest team, who finished 7th at the Midwest Cup after losing a tough 120 to 110 match to Michigan. UMass is the 3rd team in Pool 11, number 35. They finished 11th at Northeast Regionals, a tough tournament, but will be back and looking to improve. University of Texas Austin is the 4th team. They have a lot of turnover, but they also have the always fan favorite Cody Marshall as their leader. And the final team from Pool 11, Eastern Michigan University, the Flying Squirrels, and they are the first Michigan school to have a Quidditch team. Finally, we get to Pool 12, and the final top seed is none other than your Western Cup champions, the Arizona State University, and they come in at number 3, led by their keeper, Willie Jackson, who is at least 6'2", 280 pounds. Next up is number 21, University of Florida, and they come in after a 4th place finish in the Swamp Cup, the regionals, and much play in the Florida Quidditch Conference. University of Ottawa, the international team from this bracket, they ranked number 39 after a strong showing in the Canadian Cup this past weekend, finishing in 3rd. SUNY Genesco is up next. They came in 1st place in the Butterbeer Classic, and this will be their first World Cup. And the final team entering Division I play is the Delaware Valley Dragons, a community team located near Philadelphia. They played their first games just last week at the Brotherly Love Cup, and they will be looking to improve as they play in their first ever World Cup.
Hi, I'm Will Hack for the LMC, here to tell you about how teams will be ranked within their pools after the set of pool play games. We have several tiebreakers to determine how the teams will be ranked, starting with winning percentage, of course. The goal of Quidditch is to win the most games, so the more games you win, the better off you are. The second tiebreaker will be head-to-head. In any situation where there's not a circular head-to-head, 3 or more teams that have all beaten each other, then head-to-head will be used to determine who is the next team within a pool. Beyond that, there's a statistical method that we use if head-to-head and winning percentage are both tied. The statistic that we're using is called SWIM. It's point differential with snitch when it matters. How exactly SWIM works is we take the point differential of the different teams throughout all of their games. So we determine this a game at a time. And the point differential, we take the entire point differential is the same as it is, except for the terminal snitch grab. Now the terminal snitch grab will count the same for 30 points within this tie-breaking statistic if it was used to determine the winner of the game. If the team that did not win the game did catch the snitch, if it was a suicide snitch, then that won't be factored into the statistic. Additionally, if a team was winning by a lot, 40 points or more, then the statistic will decrease the value of the snitch grab, so it only is snitch when it matters. So if you catch the snitch when you're already ahead by 150 points, then this will be less valuable to your team for the purpose of the statistic. But it's still good at any time to be catching the snitch. So the team that wins will get the positive value of SWIM. The team that loses will get the negative value of SWIM. And these values will all be added together to determine your overall SWIM statistic, combining all of your pool play games. That's the third tiebreaker down the line for the pools. The next tiebreaker is another LMC concoction, which includes several things put together by our master statistician, Alex Clark. It includes standardizing win percent, or standardizing your point differential, which is points for and points against. And the third thing that's standardized is your snitch percentage of how many times you caught the snitch. And those are all factored into this statistic. And I don't really think we're going to go any farther than this on our statistical tiebreakers, but beyond that, we will use qualifiable point differential per minute and point differential per minute to determine who's advancing from the pools. In addition to that, when we actually determine the top 3 teams from each pool are the ones that are advancing. Beyond that, in order to determine the tie-breaking within pools, like if you win your pool at 5-0 and somebody else wins their pool at 5-0, then the tiebreakers we're using will be very similar. Obviously, head-to-head won't be important. That won't be included because those teams won't have played each other. So those tiebreakers will be placement within your pool, of course. If you're first, all of the teams that finish first in their pool will be seeded 1 through 12. Then the next is winning percentage, followed by SWIM, then Alex Clark's method, qualifiable point differential per minute, and then point differential. And those are all of the tiebreakers that we're using to determine how pools are seeded.
Hello, my name is Alex Clark here with the LMC to explain to y'all how the playoff bracket will work and how you'll move on from pool play into the playoff rounds. Okay, so you play all the games in your pool and you have a win-loss record. The top 3 teams from each pool automatically advance. Then for all the first place teams in each pool, we give a seed from 1 to 12 based on statistical methods that Will Hack will be talking about. The second place teams will be distributed amongst the seeds 13 to 24, and the same for the third place teams over 25 to 36. But wait, that doesn't add up. You're right. So in order to create the perfect bracket with an even number of teams, we are having the bottom 8 teams out of the third place teams play an intermediate game, and the winners will move on to the single elimination bracket. There, the higher seeds will play the lower seeds sequentially. For example, the top seed will play the lowest seed, and the second seed will play the second lowest seed, and so on.